Thanks for joining me, Professor.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Well, Professor, the whole issue is to do with His Excellency himself.
Yes.
What do you make of the splashing of monies he's exhibiting? Last week, he splashed over 400 million shillings to a group of musicians, and it has been going on again and again. A sack of over 200 million shillings, did see it sometime back, being handed over to youth in eastern Uganda. What do you make of this?
This monetization of the elections and the monetization of politics, if understood in the broader context of corruption, is part of the patronage system that is intended to lubricate the system, to favor the ruling party, to marginalize the opposition parties, and to therefore, in a sense, buy votes rather than earn those votes on the basis of the record, of the issues, and of a campaign that is properly run and that is properly institutionalized. There is an interesting dynamic to this.
Where does this now leave one, what somebody would call or expecting to be fair politics? Where does it leave you?
This is a political culture that has taken 30 years to become deeply entrenched in the way we think. And so many of us now in the country believe that we have to prepare for the elections, because as we get closer and closer to the elections, there will be money that is flowing as part of the patronage system, as part of the broader issue of corruption. And this, therefore, leaves us in a very dangerous place with respect to the consolidation of democracy, the formation of institutional forms of transparency, of accountability. All of these things are at risk.
The Public Finance Management Law, which was passed in May, it has not been put even to test. But here, they want to amend it to allow the state government to withdraw money from the reserves after depleting the consolidated funds and the treasury. Where does this leave the powers of parliament to approve such a huge sums of money to exit that treasury before government does so?
That is a typical behavior of a movement system. The typical behavior of a movement system is to mobilize all resources, all institutions, all organizations, all structures into one big mass, so as to essentially satisfy the cause of the day. And today, the cause of the day is winning that election. So multi-party systems, the multi-party dispensation notwithstanding, the system in Uganda is still very much a movement system. There is no opposition party to really check the powers of those in charge of the state and of the party.
Another scholar would argue that actually the situation in Uganda is worse. It's just because the international community has not given it much attention, be it even the World Bank. Because when you see since 2011, the World Bank, the central bank has been grappling with the inflation that was caused by the financial indiscipline that was exhibited by then, where about 3 trillion shillings was injected by the ruling party into the campaign trail. And at the end of it all, Uganda suffered the worst inflation rate.
I don't disagree that the economy is in trouble. What I was suggesting is that what Mr. Mutebile has decided to do, and we expect that he'll stick to his word, is that there's not going to be any printing of currency in order to meet the demands of the politicians and to service the campaign as it's monetized. That then promises to keep levels of inflation fairly low. The issue then has something more to do, and the crisis that you talk about and the harsh conditions of the economy that you talk about right now has more to do with this continued devaluation of the shilling relative to the dollar. This is a very serious issue because it will bring certain businesses to a standstill.
If government succeeds with its numerical strength in Parliament to convince its members, surrender their constitutional powers in the amendment of the Public Finance Management Law to the state, to order for the printing of money, of new notes and withdrawing money without approval of Parliament. Where are you seeing the 2016 elections? And where would it have left the statements of the governor of the central bank?
Clearly, the answer to that question is no. The election, at the end of the day, is about a campaign that is focused on very specific issues that we face as a country and that is intended to win the majority of votes of Ugandans in terms of determining who will rule this country post-2016. That's one set of issues that we need to put aside. The other set of issues that we need to talk about with respect to 2016 is what are the alternatives to the current status quo? What are the alternatives to the National Resistance Movement government? Is it the Democratic Party? Is it FDC? Is it UPC? Is it the Conservative Party? To name but a few. And anyone who has been watching the drama that has been taking place with respect to the opposition in the country is not going to be confident enough to even suggest that they're going to create, quote unquote, an alliance, although it exists in name, that will change the order of the day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Right. I appreciate it.